athlete. It's in your DNA.
You're an athlete. Live like an athlete so that you can be successful in life.
You're an athlete. Live like it.
ANA, America needs athletes.
Welcome, athletes, into another episode of the Gym Closet. I'm here, as always, with Amber.
What's up, guys?
And today we have a special guest, Phi Dang. Hello. Welcome in. If this is the first time joining us, the Gym Closet is a Krave Gym podcast all about Krave Gym's mission is helping all of our athletes dominate the sport of life, both inside and outside of the gym. We want to dominate life, and this podcast helps break through all the crap online to hopefully give you guys the real information about how to dominate. So today, and we're kind of going to get into some of these, call them segments or whatever, where we're interviewing some of our athletes, and to start that, to kick that off, who better than to jump in and start off with Phi. He's been an athlete with us for a long time, close to 7 years, I'm going to say.
Lucky numbers.
And so at 7 years, he's been through it all. So we're going to get a little bit of his story today. And then also he's the new owner of the downtown Des Moines location of Krave Gym. So that one is about to open up, and so we'll talk a little bit about that. So we have a great show today, but we'll kind of dive right in. Phi, let's talk at first about, because I think I want to start this kind of from the life journey of a Krave athlete, right? So before you came in, and this will be unique too, because not only has Phi been an athlete, but he's also gone through all of the coaching certifications, all of the owner certifications, and all of the fun stuff there. And so it's a unique perspective to have, is kind of seeing from the front end and then, seeing the back end and getting all of the training and all of the fun stuff from the business side and the coach's side and all of the things. So, so I'm really excited. But talk about kind of what brought you into Krave, if you can remember 7 years ago.
Oh man, that was a long time ago, but I was 26 years old. I remember sitting on the couch in our townhouse near Waukee, Jethro's
Okay,
Jambalaya. Yep, I turned to my wife, I kind of tell her, our son is about to be born in 2 months, and I am not the man, the husband, and the father that I want to be. And it made me realize, jumping gyms back and forth, 10 years from when I was 16 to 26, 10 years of doing the same thing, expecting different results, essentially. Because, there's a big banner in my high school, in my chemistry class, I remember, that always spoke to me in the last 20 years of my life. It was, if you do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always gotten. And it's crazy how these little mottos from 20 years ago can affect you 20 years later. So I still have that same mindset of if something's not working, you have to change. But it's in human nature to resist change, right?
Comfortable.
It's incredibly uncomfortable. But what I've become more comfortable with is being able to put myself in those situations where I feel gross and it's new and I don't like it. So I can't honestly remember how I ended up doing a workout at Krave. I think I walked in and Amber, I think, was coaching, and I didn't really come from a big sports background like most athletes at Krave, but it kind of gave me that coach atmosphere. I was in wrestling for a couple months, cross country for a couple months.
Sure.
Last place every meet. So, not
Hey,
not much of a
right.
background, but it reminded me of that, oh man, that's the time I busted my ass off the most. And I remember walking into it thinking, oh, I'm strong. I can do a lot of push-ups. I can do a lot of pull-ups. This is going to be easy. And I remember Amber just destroyed my soul. and I remember all the females were doing more weight than me, and I wanted to throw up by the end of it. And I was like, okay, it's the program, doing working in a team environment was completely new to me.
Sure.
Because at that point, I've done all the home workouts, your P90X, your Insanity. I've been to Lifetime. And I told Tyler once before, my problem with Lifetime was I'm there for 3 hours enjoying the hot tub and the sauna.
Doing
and
all of the
it's
things,
almost
yeah.
too luxurious for me.
Right.
So, I mean, it was just in and out an hour. Like, it just felt like you're in an environment where everyone's really trying to be better and achieve more.
Definitely.
Which is ironic. It's in our acronym.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that was kind of how I got into to Krave. Just basically getting my ass kicked.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Long story short.
Yeah. So we've talked about this before, but tell me kind of, so you said that you didn't really start as an athlete. One of the unique things I think that I love about your story is how do you currently like identify yourself as an athlete? And if you do, what do you think led to that transition and that mindset shift from, you just said before Krave, I wasn't an athlete. And now I think I know your answer to, are you an athlete now?
I'm always, it's almost like,
The answer is yes.
it's almost like a funny way to say it is like, the answer is yes, but sometimes it's like funny saying it because you don't want to feel arrogant about it, right?
Sure.
But I absolutely identify as one, and it took me years to do so. It is why I say it's funny. It's because the 7 years I've been here, it took me 3 years to realize I am an athlete. Like, if I live like one, everything else comes into place. Everything else falls into place. You end up feeling like one. You look like one. When things get tough outside of the gym, you have that same
Reaction.
athlete mindset of showing up, overcoming what's hard. So that's why I mentioned it's funny, because it took me a long time to see myself that way.
Well, and you would even
Definitely.
admit, like, you were like, you weren't athletic when you came to Krave. Like, you didn't love running, you didn't love the conditioning. Strength training was probably what you love the most, but like, I love your culture and just growing up, because you didn't play a lot of sports growing up, right? And so for you even to put yourself in a position where there is a bunch of athletes is really cool, because you took that first step, right? And now to see you mold from like the day you walked into Krave and to who you are now has been really, really cool.
Yeah, you guys can check your records. I mean, I ran 13, 14-minute miles.
And you complained
In
about
the
it.
beginning.
You let us know that it was hard for you.
Yeah, and I kind of had to rationalize it with myself. Like, all right, it's 6 minutes of jogging. It's like, if I can't do that, it's like, well, how am I going to show up for my family and my son? Is if I can't show up to 6 minutes of jogging.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, just that mindset is great. Yeah, so you went from non-athlete to, an athlete. Talk a little bit about some of the things you talked about, some of the uncomfortable situations you like to put yourself in. Talk about some, because you're one of the athletes that we've had that does kind of the most competitions, different things. And it's not just like, oh, I go do powerlifting competitions. You've done it all. Talk a little bit about what different events or competitions or different things that you've done, and why you think you've been successful, not only in just trying them, but doing well in all of them as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of it started with the challenges at Krave, because, especially in the endurance ones where I'm always in last place.
Sure.
I think in the mile ones, I'm still probably bottom 20%, but I still continue to show up. So it's similar to like the 2 months I did cross country, right?
Sure.
Every single meet, I'm dead last, right? But it taught me, if you show up and do it for yourself, this was long time ago, 18 years ago. I still got faster. I'm still always dead last.
Right.
But coming to those challenges and reminding myself I'm doing it for myself. Any sport will have games, matches, meets that you go to measure your progress, right? And that's kind of how I saw these challenges. If people train running, it's your next event's going to be a 5K, your next event's going to be a marathon. If you're lifting weights, your next event might be a powerlifting meet, whatever it is. So I see these outside athletic events as a way to measure my own athletic performance. But as I mentioned earlier, it took a few years before I even joined my first competition. So the way that happened, like I mentioned, it was a really long journey to be able to have the confidence to join a competition and not expect to come in first
Sure.
every single
Yeah,
time.
absolutely.
And talk a little bit about what competitions you've done, because there's across the board as far as what you've done. So talk a little bit about that.
I have done, and I always emphasize, I've done 2 half marathons.
Awesome.
Not a runner.
Sure.
I've done 3 competitions at a CrossFit gym.
Sure.
Not a CrossFitter.
Right.
I've done 3 powerlifting meets now. One of them was officially sanctioned. Not a powerlifter.
Right.
And what I kind of learned at the end of the day is, while I may not be in any of those buckets, if you see yourself as an athlete, you can compete with some of the best athletes
right.
in those disciplines.
Right.
And I think there's a few more.
You did, like,
High Rocks. High
yeah.
Rocks was a huge one. DECA was a huge one.
Yep.
Those were deeply outside of my comfort zone. Honestly, the dozen comps that I've done, each one of them were deeply, deeply outside of my comfort zone. But when you sign up for it, you know, it keeps yourself accountable,
Totally.
and it puts you in that mindset of, okay, I'm doing something uncomfortable.
For sure.
So like the half marathon, for example, even running a 10-minute pace, right? Out of 3,000 people at the IMT last year, I probably came in 2,000th place at a 10-minute pace.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, I did it for myself.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's been cool to see you do it with other Krave athletes too, right? And Coach Dan. Like you
Oh.
guys come together, and that really builds that. It almost is a confidence boost to be like, okay, I'm here with my team. I'm not solo. And so it's been really cool to see you guys all do that together.
Yeah, we
as
did a
well.
rows and reps competition, like rowing and bench pressing, just a week ago.
Awesome. Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
that.
and then I came in second, Dan came in third, Justin came in fourth.
Okay. Awesome.
And I always give Dan,
represent.
I always give Dan the
How'd
credit.
they feel about that?
Um,
Have they talked to you?
They
yet?
know. They were like, man, Phi's never gonna let this one go. And I told
I'm
them,
here for
I'm like, you guys beat me at like almost every other comp. Like, let me
See
have
how
this.
it feels? Let me
Let
have
me
this
have-
moment. I need
But
this
like
moment.
literally, the only reason I beat Dan was because he was in my ear, like screaming at me, one more rep, one more rep, one more rep, and I wanted to quit 16 reps ago.
Right.
I remember that.
And
That's
now he's
awesome.
like, damn it, I wish I didn't do that. And go.
Yep.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
coach came out of him. And you also jumped in and you helped coach at the women's barbell
Yeah.
backstage, kind of helping out as well.
That was like really, I don't even know the word for it. I just kind of went back there, not really with any alternative, what's the word? Ulterior motive.
Right, right.
I just wanted to kind of help out the athletes,
Right.
kind
Because
of.
we had a really big team going in. You know?
And it's
Yeah.
like I've been in a lot of these meets, I feel like, or you know, I do a lot of these movements a lot, so I'm just trying to help out. And then just getting so many shout outs as like, oh, Coach
Right.
Phi, thank you for being there,
Awesome.
or like your words really helped me get through. And I'm just like, wow, that was impactful for me to hear as a coach.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me, so as an athlete now, you've grown tremendously. As, you know, a man, you've grown. Do you feel like you've accomplished your goal when you set out, when you came to Krave? You were like, I'm not the man that I feel like I want to be for my family. Do you feel like you've accomplished that in a way right now?
I have more than accomplished what I originally set out to do, because at the bottom of everything, it was like, I just want abs, is how I started.
Yeah.
Like most men, it's like, I just want to look good. But it evolved into so much more than that. It was just learning to show up, whether it was for my career, my family, my wife, like whatever it was just when things get tough, learning to show up is what I'm most proud of.
Definitely.
And I feel like I'm able to show my family that every day, weekly, whatever it is.
And I think that's like a huge part of, like, at least for me, and I think you're kind of on the same boat, is that's kind of what you can show your kids. And that's, you know, and Amber, you know, we've had these conversations where, you know, when you tell your kids, oh, I'm going to the gym, or you may be like, I don't really feel like going today, but you go, they can see that, and that's kind of something that they're going to be taught to do the hard things, whether you feel like it or not, and continue to put. So I think those lessons that you learned and you set out to those goals, then being able to pass that on to Ty, and I mean, Land's an athlete with us at the same time. How did she come at the same time, or was she just a little bit after you?
She
I think
has
she
been
took a month
there
or
either somewhere between 3 and 4 years.
Okay.
And I know, like many athletes, I hear, oh, super intimidated to come in, but you know, I think I kind of held her hand for the first few months.
Sure, sure.
Absolutely.
Kind of got the consistency piece of it.
Right.
And now she's exactly where I am. It feels weird to not do your 3 sessions a week. It feels
Right.
like you're not
For
brushing
sure.
your teeth.
Yeah,
That's how weird it
Yeah.
feels.
And
Yeah,
she's accomplished so much at Krave too. You
Yeah.
know, seeing her evolve has been really awesome as well.
I saw her earlier today, like, when did you get so strong?
Better look out.
Yeah.
You
She's
know,
coming.
I just had an aha moment. I'm like, I can't wait until Ty is at an age where he can like challenge you a little bit. Because seeing you with him, because he's going to be like pretty damn athletic growing up in this environment. And it's going to be really funny to see you two go at it. And I can't wait.
And I think the part that inspires me the most to always kick his ass, honestly, is the athletes that I work out with that are in their 40s, their 50s, their 60s. I think even their 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, literally a couple hours ago, I'm working on next to Sandy,
Right. Yeah.
and I'm trying to catch him running around. And it's like, okay, this must be how Jake Paul felt beating Mike Tyson.
There you go. Yeah,
Because I'm like, all right, I caught him, but
Here we are.
yeah.
yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is inspiring to see those guys.
Definitely. So, talk next, kind of leading up. You know, you got accomplished and more what you set out to do when you first started Krave. What then made you kind of say, I want to open one of these up myself?
Well, let's see. So, of the last 10 years of my career, I would say six or seven of it was spent in the corporate space before I opened my own business insurance agency, Orchid Agency. So that hit about 4 years, just a couple of years ago. Oh, sorry, just last year. And the agency kind of was in a good spot. And then everything just kind of made sense. Like the lease, the space downtown opened up. Krave, your brand was exploding. You know, I was feeling really good about my athletic journey, my journey as an athlete. So really everything just kind of like fell into place. You know how I mentioned earlier?
Yeah.
You kind of just show up and just keep working hard and things just fall into place. So the opportunity presented itself, and it just made sense to do it and to pull the trigger on it. And I know most of the decisions I've made in my life are based on whether or not I would regret doing it.
Sure.
So if I
Right.
look back 10, 20 years from now, I knew if I didn't pursue my passion, which I didn't even expect fitness to become a passion of mine, is what's
Right.
interesting. It never was, honestly. But just experiencing this journey and being able to help others from so many different aspects, because I've been through all the training, nutrition, recovery obstacles as well.
Sure.
And so just
Yep.
being able to help other people with their fitness journey. Again, everything just melded together and made sense to be the sixth Krave location.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What did Land say, your wife say, when, because was this a thought that you had and then thought about it a little bit? What was the pitch to her?
It was the same pitch I had to quit corporate 4 years ago.
Okay.
I know, I think something along the lines of, I know it's crazy, but I have you by my side, and I know with your support I can accomplish anything. And it sounds corny,
That's awesome,
amazing.
though.
but I
That's
literally
amazing.
said those words to her
Yeah.
4 years ago, and then I said the same words to her.
That's
It's like,
awesome.
okay, this is business number 2.
Right.
And it's scary, it's uncomfortable, it's new, and you know, you got to risk it for the biscuit.
There you go.
But I told her, I was like, you see some of the most successful millionaires, billionaires out there, they all say the same thing. Behind every successful man is a supporting wife, or, you know, vice versa. So that was I didn't have to convince her too much. She believed in me, and it just kind of took off from there.
That's
Yeah.
so awesome. So awesome.
That's amazing. So yeah, so 6th location, getting an update kind of on where we're at currently. So we'll release this here in the next week or so. So we currently just got like the shipment of all of the main equipment. The flooring should be done this weekend with the turf and all that fun stuff. Cameras went in today. I don't know, were you downtown at all today?
No.
No,
Not
so
today.
so I went in there and talked to the guy putting up the cameras. So we hopefully got the cameras and that system figured out. The door guy was there figuring all the fun stuff. So we're like on the tail end of getting everything open. Just a couple weeks until opening. We've been doing pre-sales for the last couple of weeks. Where do you feel like when you said yes, let's pull the trigger? Here's all this excitement. Where's the emotion today, and kind of where do you feel what's on the top of your mind today, being just a couple weeks from opening up?
And this is a real podcast, so you can literally say whatever you want.
So what is the emotion? Honestly, you know that surreal experience when you walk into your first house? The key, you get the keys from your real estate guy,
Yeah,
whoever
yeah.
it is.
Yep.
You walk into an empty house, and you get this like weird feeling that you know it has to sink in. That like, wow, this is my house now. It's
Sure,
that
yeah.
same feeling when I walked into it, what was it, 2 months ago?
Yeah.
Into just a bare, naked space.
Yeah.
And I walked in there with Lan and Ty, and you know everything's dusty and concrete.
Yep.
And I'm like, wow, this is my next chapter.
Yeah.
And it was that, obviously so much excitement, but that you get that nervousness of entering a new chapter. It's terrifying,
Right.
but it's paired with the excitement as well. And I've basically had that feeling in the last couple months. Every time a new shipment arrives, the flooring arrives, the power blocks arrive, whatever it is, like I kind of get that, like, wow, this is happening. Like it's surreal, American dream,
Right.
you know, whatever
Yeah.
you want to say.
Ready or not, it's here, right?
Yep.
And I think with pre-sales too, it makes it exciting, right? Like at first it's a dream. It's like, okay, the dream's here. Now that it's starting to fill, it's like, this is exciting because you're having good conversations with people that maybe have never been in a fitness or in a gym before. Now you get to be the first one to be like, let me help you change your life, right? And you said it before.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, now you get to lead so many people to just better their health and their lives. And it's such an empowering thing, but I can't speak for you. But I think now is exciting. And it's also like, holy crap, like we're going to be open here in a few weeks. But
Yeah.
it's been really cool to hear your conversations and how natural it is for you to just be able to be like, hey, like this is for you because it changed my life and I know it can change yours too.
Yeah. I'm glad you bring that up, because in college it was always like a running joke, like
Right.
with the boys, like, oh yeah, when I have my own gym, like this is what I would do. And it was never like serious. It was always like, oh, one day when I own a restaurant, one day when I own a
Yeah.
gym. But like now it's actually
here.
happening.
It's here.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's been cool. I had a nutrition meeting today at Waukee. She's like, gosh, like, so I said, what are your next steps? Like, what big events do you have coming up? She's like, well, in 2 months, I have to go downtown Des Moines. Like, my work is hosting a big conference here, but I have to be downtown Des Moines. So I'm going to miss like all my Krave sessions because I'm going to be gone Monday through Friday and I have to stay at the hotel. And I was like, we have a location downtown. And she's like, like that literally made her day and her week because she's like, that's right. She's like, when's it going to be open? I'm like, May. And so she's super excited. But even having those opportunities for our athletes, like if they're down there to go train there too, has been super cool to see as well.
I think that's probably been the most exciting part of it, is to see people's want and interest to change their lives and like how much people care about their health and fitness.
Yeah.
Because, you know, in the last 10 years, you know, you meet the people who make excuses and the people who don't care. And to see the people like flock and have that much excitement for downtown has been like an amazing experience, to be able to see that many people have the phone ring, essentially.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're a sales guy. I mean, you've done a ton of sales in the insurance industry. That's what the position mainly
Insurance
is.
capital,
Right.
insurance city of the world is what they call Des Moines. Oh, you didn't know that?
I didn't know.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that
That's
either.
awesome.
Yeah, insurance capital. So
Okay, excellent.
Yep.
So you've been an insurance salesman. Now you get into, you know, selling Krave and having the opportunity to change lives. What does the switch feel like as far as, you know, not any like logistics and the sales process and all of this kind of stuff, but What's kind of different in your mind in selling insurance and then, selling someone the opportunity to dominate the sport of life?
Well, I can talk about what's similar to it
Yeah.
first.
For sure.
So in my 10 years of sales, I feel like my success comes from doing what makes the most sense for the customer, the client first.
Sure.
And then like I kind of mentioned earlier, the sale and everything else kind of falls into place.
Right.
Having a successful business, whatever it is, making the top of the leaderboards at corporate, the first step is showing up, just like these workouts, whatever it is. So that's kind of the similarity that I've noticed with selling these gym memberships, is that these conversations I have with people, it's on a genuine effort to get to know their goals and help them in their best interest first, right? Because I've seen and I've coached so many sales agents who only have their own pocket in their mind.
Sure.
Right? And when you come from that place, when you only think about the result, the conclusion, you skip the entire process, you skip the entire journey
Right.
of getting to know your client, getting to know your athlete. So that's kind of the similarity. So I kind of answered your question.
Yeah.
Yep.
Opposite.
Definitely. Yeah.
But I mean, I would say like the big difference, obviously people need insurance,
Sure.
and a lot of times if someone chooses to go with me, I offer the value of what's the differentiator working with me versus someone else,
Yeah.
right? And a lot of times that'll come with, I like you as a person, which is always like surprising to hear. 'Cause we're just talking about liability and
Right.
insurance
Right.
jargon. I'm like, "Hey, that's nice to hear."
Yeah.
So that's kind of the big difference for me is that it's semi-transactional
Sure.
in the insurance world.
Sure.
But fitness is something people are like passionate about, people
Right.
care about. So
Yeah.
that's why some of these conversations are like almost new to me. It's like, I mean, not that many people get excited talking about insurance.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And people are just like, oh yeah, my goals, I used to do this in sports. It's like, oh, I'm so excited to join the team
Right.
and get going and
Yeah.
lose this weight, gain this muscle, whatever it is. And people have genuine excitement in their voice and their tone. So that's been the biggest refreshing change of pace.
Sure.
Yeah.
Between insurance and fitness.
Definitely. Just a different product in the fact that it's something I think we've always felt in fitness. It's something that you get to know your athletes so much more, and that's one of the things that I kind of miss about being in the gym is just hearing their stories every day. And you've talked to people in like a sale when you're talking to someone doing pre-sales and stuff, and then they join the team. Even in that brief conversation, you get to know them pretty well because they're telling you about what their goals are and what kind of training they've done and all of these things. But the coolest part to me that I look forward to watching you, execute and being able to have these relationships because just like your, couple hours of coaching backstage and you get so many thank yous from the girls that were lifting at the women's barbell classic, like that comes in floods. And if you have 200 athletes that all are thanking you for being able to do something. I remember just specifically people talking about like, I never thought that I would be able to jump on a 12-inch box, and look at me. When I started, I could barely jump over this piece of tape, and now I'm on a 12-inch box. Just different things like that you wouldn't even think about as like such a cool accomplishment for them. And they give you kind of the props for coaching them, or at least talking them into being consistent and holding them accountable and all that stuff. So
And
that's
like,
always fun.
right? And then like from the coaching perspective too, like you're a leader to these new coaches coming in, right? Because you're the head coach, and it's been cool to see like their transformations and how they evolved as coaches,
sure.
and then the stories they get to hear from the athletes on like, thanks Coach Noah or whoever's impacting their life, but you are a part of that as well too, right? And those coaches appreciate you for taking the leap and opening up a Krave. Otherwise they wouldn't have an opportunity to impact lives too. So it's just, that's been one of my favorite parts too, because we're not in it as much with the athletes, which has been really hard for me to like step back and be like, okay, I'm not in it as much as I used to be because I'm shoved in an office now, which is fine. That's why my nutrition meetings take 45 minutes to an hour, because
'Cause
we
you
have a
just
lot to
stay
catch up. So that's been hard for me, but it's really cool to see like wherever your spot is in life at that time, and how you still are impacting people in such a positive way.
You know what the word was? I was trying to, that was on the tip of my tongue earlier.
Yeah,
It was fulfillment.
Fulfillment.
There you go.
Yes.
Not that big a word,
right.
but
But you got it. You
technically
got it.
English was my second language, guys.
There you go. There you
But
go.
it was unexpectedly fulfilling.
Yeah.
Getting those remarks, and you know, I asked Tyler this a few weeks ago. I said, "Don't you miss coaching sometimes?"
Yeah.
He said, "Absolutely."
Yeah.
But I didn't ask you what you miss about it.
Yeah. So to me, it was just the hands-on, like the ability, and the feedback loop is so fast, and it's really fulfilling to see, like, okay, someone's squat form is a little off. And like in most things in life, when you make an adjustment, like you have to wait for a result. In the gym, when you're coaching an athlete, you can have an instruction and you can get a feedback loop, and they can get it right away. And it's the coolest thing to give. Either you're giving it a verbal cue or something, or you're adjusting something, or there's several ways that you might have to get that person to get it. Maybe you have to show them if they're visual, and then when they get it, it's like this excitement right away, and you're like, yes, awesome, great job. And you can do that 150 times in every session.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of really cool for me to see that feedback loop over and over and over. When you get into business, like where we're talking about our coaching the coaches, like sometimes the things that we're coaching, it takes a month, 60 days, 90 days to see results from what we're instructing our coaches on, and that's a longer feedback loop that kind of sucks. And if you can speed that up as fast as you can. But that was the one thing that I really loved, is you're like, here's a thing I said that impacted them right then, and then that little thing that they made an adjustment could probably stick with them for the rest of their life. You know what I mean? And help them progress in the rest of their life. So that's always been the coolest thing about me, like what I loved about coaching.
Mine's fuck the squat form. Let's build community.
There you go.
I love
can
the
see
community.
it.
Yeah.
Granted, yes, if someone's lifting incorrectly, I'm going to correct them. But I'm like, I love relationships and community and building people up and lifting them up, So that's one thing that
I know I can
really
see you in
miss.
your zone when you're coaching, Amber, and because I know you coached and played volleyball, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I can kind of see that volleyball coach come out.
And that's
Yeah.
what originally what I thought I wanted to be was, well, I have a long past, but and it's not about me. But yes, I started nursing and then coaching, and then I'm like, but so this gives me that fulfillment of like still being a coach.
Nursing?
Nursing.
Okay.
Nursing. But then I didn't love blood and
I think for you
needles.
it's
Who does?
interesting because I
yeah,
see that.
nurses.
So I'm like, no,
Nurses
this is
do.
a terrible
Yeah,
idea.
I see it in like social situations. Like you love the social element.
Oh, yeah.
I'm much more, and I think when we first started, I did most of the one-on-ones.
Logistics, like yes.
And then
very-
like the back end stuff
Yeah.
where I was stuck in an office because I need that away time. I love getting together and a party and all that kind of stuff, but like over social situations, I'm
yes,
not
not your
about it,
jam,
right?
right.
But you, I feel like could
Ugh.
be in a social situation and be with a team 24/7 and just thrive in that environment. And so that's why it's amazing for you.
Yeah.
But that's why I think the team sessions for you when you were coaching.
Yeah. Coach Zach's going to be gone for about 2 or 3 weeks, so I'm pumped because I get to jump in and coach some
There you
sessions
go.
now.
Oh, yeah. And Tyler told me about his love of small talk. So make sure every time you see him.
Right? Yeah.
He's
Oh,
all about
yeah.
he's all about the small talk. Ask him about the weather. He loves it.
I am the worst at small talk. I love most. Amber's gonna think this is stupid, but she knows this. I love like deep conversations
It's
about
not
like
stupid. It's just you.
I can't
just can't get
stand
my
like
mind there.
superficial talk. And most of like, so like when we're talking fitness, I'll get into a deep conversation about like all of this different stuff, but it's tough for me to have a superficial conversation about like, just in passing.
Probably
I'm
drives you
terrible
nuts
at
because
that.
I can't get deep into those conversations. I'm like, dude, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about or what you're smoking, but I can't get there with you right now. Like,
That's
let's
true.
keep it at the superficial level. You need to
Yep.
find someone that you can just talk to on that level because I'm not doing it for you.
A lot of times I
Fee, maybe
just
that's
talking
where
to
you come
myself
in.
on that level.
You do.
So
And you keep talking, and I'm like, I'm sorry, babe. I promise I'm listening, but I don't know what to say.
I love it.
Yeah, so What other questions did you have?
I didn't have much else. I kind of just wanted to go through your journey with Krave and ending with kind of that future thought of what you're excited about. We're super excited to have you. We've always been excited to have you on the team. I think that you're uniquely one of those athletes that always gets mentioned when you ask West Des Moines, who is an athlete that you can either look up to or is going to try hard and push you, or you can give shit to if they're not trying hard. That's going to be Phi. And so I think that everyone identifies you on the team over there. They'll probably miss you since you're not going to be training over there as much anymore.
I start my own
You
chapter.
You gotta do a pop-in every once in a while. They would love it.
Yeah.
Or they can come and hang out with Phi, and I'm sure you'll be training with some of your athletes over in downtown, and just you got to invite some of the West Des Moines athletes over there too.
Which, speaking of, we're doing a Krave Gym trailer tour. Have you heard about this yet?
Krave Gym trailer tour.
So we're
For the
gonna
summer.
for the summer. So we're gonna take the trailer out and do outdoor workouts. So the first one is set up at the downtown location, May 3rd, Saturday. It's the first Saturday of that month.
Okay.
So we'll do a bunch of promotion and stuff. So maybe we can get some of those West Des Moines athletes to come down and do an
Oh,
outdoor
yeah.
workout. But then we'll give them a tour of the downtown one and stuff. So it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So
We don't know exactly where it will be as far as
we'll have all the
logistics
dates.
of the trailer workout itself.
So we're going downtown, Ankeny, West Des Moines, Waukee. So all throughout the summer, every other Saturday, we're going to be doing those too. So
I guess we met Don, the property manager.
Oh yeah, yep.
He might be cool with the
Yeah.
parking lot on a
right in
Yeah.
front of
on a
Homegrown. Let's
weekend.
go.
like a little corner of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the tough part about that parking lot. It's just so packed all the time. But I think there might be some other parking lots that are less frequented, and it'll be like a 9 o'clock. So we're hoping just to get within a quick running or jogging distance from the downtown location, so that we can kind of end the trailer workout with a run to the location, tour it up, and then break it down at the location, and then walk or jog back to your car that might be parked somewhere that close. So
Yeah, a
that's
lot
kinda
of
what
people
we're thinking.
mentioned it's a different lifestyle down there. So
Yeah.
people are used to walking
Right.
and
Yeah.
riding bikes and
For sure.
everything.
I didn't actually realize this, but on the street down Ingersoll, there's a ton of parking right there too that is never full. And
Yeah.
it's paid parking, but I don't know, if you live downtown or you frequent downtown, do you always just would you always do the
Pay
Des
at the
Moines meter app, or is there a membership that you can have for that? Do you have any idea?
I haven't worked downtown in 5 years.
A lot of it's updated since then.
But there was a lot of 2-hour parking. I think that was free.
That'd be
To
sweet
my
if they did a
knowledge.
year long. You can park wherever.
That's
down
what.
there,
Yeah,
as long
that's
as you
what I
have a
didn't know
pass or something. But
if that was something that you just click on the app and in it you have a membership of some sort. I don't know.
I'm sure they do.
You'd think they'd want to.
If you're there every day.
and you live downtown or
If you
in a
know,
downtown,
just comment below, because I'm just super interested. And if
We
there
could go
are some
Google
people-
it too. But
Yeah.
if we don't, forget
I like
comment
relying
below.
on the people watching more than I want to Google it. But that's all I got.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited for you guys. You and Lan and Ty. It's going to be awesome. And it's very fulfilling for sure. Very fulfilling. So
Yeah.
congrats to you guys. And
Bittersweet.
congrats.
Bittersweet not working out with the
West
Des
Yeah.
Moines team.
crew.
You'll build your own team though, which is pretty
Yep.
cool, So your own group, and then we all go against each other in those challenges. Then
Yep.
it's game on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna bring
Yeah.
championships back. Everyone's
We do.
asking me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to. We want to do the last one that we did was the summer. What was it called? The summer shred or whatever. We want to do a summer and a winter one that are the bigger competition type championships and do those. But we got to get organized first. So in the works again.
It's crazy
So-
because it's now that you have more locations, now there's a lot of travel. So it wouldn't be fair to do them all here all the time for Elkhorn and Sioux Falls, right?
Right.
And then we'd have to do some in Sioux Falls or wherever. So almost need a centralized, Omaha would be centralized for all those locations for people to travel. But then it's are people willing to do it? Because they bitch about the challenges. So are they really going to come?
You gotta target the people
the
who love
question.
it. Yep.
We do. We talk about it a lot, though, and we think it'd be super fun.
Yeah.
So
Awesome. Well, that's all I got. Thank you guys for joining us.
this is Phi's first podcast. I would
First
say you
podcast.
I did okay?
Crushed
nailed it. Didn't
Crushed.
He's like, "Are you nervous?" And I'm like, "Do I need to be?"
Now you're making me.
I was
nervous
just trying to
now.
make him a little bit nervous. I'm like, you're way too relaxed. My first podcast says shit in my pants. I was
Just
so
in a room,
nervous.
just in a
It's
room.
just Tyler and Amber.
I was
just
like,
chat
wait,
with us.
what is this? Where's the camera?
I love it.
It's just you guys. fine.
We're good.
Yeah.
We're good. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. And remember, you're an athlete. Live like it.
Born an athlete, you'll die an athlete. It's in your DNA.
Live like an athlete so that you can be successful in life.